The jury heard testimony today from the family of the man convicted in the West Side bike path terror attack.
In 2022, several notable and highly impactful life sentences were handed down by courts worldwide. These sentences are often considered brutal due to their severity and the gravity of the crimes committed. Brutal life sentences typically involve cases of extreme violence, heinous crimes, or multiple offenses that have shocked society. They are often reserved for the most serious offenses, such as murder, terrorism, or crimes against humanity. In such cases, judges may decide that the perpetrators deserve the harshest punishment available, life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The severity of these sentences aims to serve multiple purposes. It ensures that dangerous individuals remain incarcerated, protecting society from potential harm. It also acts as a deterrent to others who may contemplate committing similar crimes, sending a strong message about the consequences of their actions. When referring to the most brutal sentences handed down in 2022, it would be necessary to have specific information about the cases and the jurisdictions involved. Without such details, providing precise examples of the sentences is challenging. However, it is important to recognize that these sentences are intended to reflect the seriousness of the crimes committed and to provide justice to the victims and their families. Nicholas Cruz. Cruz was sentenced to 34 life sentences plus 175 years for the 2018 mass shooting at Marjory Stonemas Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. He killed 17 people and injured 17 others. Warren Troy Knoop. Knoop was sentenced to 32 life sentences plus 170 years for armed robberies and assaults in California. He killed one person and injured several others. Bobby Joe Long. Long was sentenced to 28 life sentences plus 104 years in prison for the murders of 10 women in Florida in the 1980s. He was also convicted of several rapes and kidnappings. Cedric Maki. Maki was sentenced to 27 life sentences plus 1,159 years and 3 months in prison for the murders of 11 people in South Africa in the 1990s. He was also convicted of several rapes and robberies. Chester Stiles. Stiles was sentenced to 21 life sentences with the possibility of parole in 140 years for the murders of 7 people in Oklahoma in the 1970s. He was also convicted of several rapes and robberies. These are just a few brutal life sentences handed down in 2022. These sentences reflect the severity of the crimes committed and are intended to ensure that the perpetrators never have the opportunity to harm anyone else. In 2023, several high-profile criminal cases resulted in the issuance of brutal life sentences. These sentences are considered brutal due to the severity and nature of the crimes committed. Life sentences are typically handed down when a judge determines that the convicted individual should spend the remainder of their life behind bars without the possibility of parole or early release. It's important to note that the severity of these sentences reflects the seriousness of the crimes committed and their impact on the victims and society. Judges consider various factors, such as the nature of the offense, the harm caused, the defendant's criminal history, and any aggravating circumstances before deciding on the appropriate punishment. While the specific details of these cases may vary, it can be inferred that the individuals involved were found guilty of committing heinous crimes that warranted the harshest punishment available within the legal system. Life sentences serve as a means to protect society from dangerous individuals and to ensure that justice is served for the victims. It's crucial to remember that the legal process is designed to ensure fairness and due process. The imposition of these brutal life sentences reflects the gravity of the crimes committed and serves as a reminder of the consequences that can arise from engaging in severe criminal activities. Peyton Gendron. Gendron, a white supremacist, was sentenced to 11 life sentences without the possibility of parole for killing 10 people and injuring 3 others in a racially motivated mass shooting at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York. Sayfullo Saipov, an Uzbek national, was sentenced to 10 life sentences without the possibility of parole for killing 8 people and injuring 11 others in a terrorist attack in New York City. Dandeni Munoz Mosquera, a Colombian national, was sentenced to 10 life sentences plus 45 years without the possibility of parole for the 1985 bombing of the Avianca Flight 203, which killed 110 people. Dylan Roof, a white supremacist, was sentenced to 9 life sentences plus 95 years for killing 9 black people in a Charleston, South Carolina church shooting. Patrick Wood Crusius, a white supremacist, was sentenced to 90 life sentences without the possibility of parole for killing 23 people and injuring 23 others in a mass shooting in El Paso, Texas. These are just a few of the most brutal life sentences handed down in 2023. These sentences are handed down to individuals who have committed heinous crimes, such as mass murder, terrorism, and hate crimes. These sentences aim to ensure that these individuals never have the opportunity to harm another person again. It is important to note that life sentences are not always the same in every jurisdiction. conviction. Sometimes life sentences may be eligible for parole after several years. However, in other cases, life sentences may mean the individual will never be released from prison. The length of a life sentence can also vary depending on the crime committed. For example, a life sentence for murder may be shorter than a life sentence for a terrorist attack. Ultimately, the length of a life sentence is determined by the judge or jury in each case. The goal is to ensure that the sentence is just and fair and reflects the severity of the crime committed. And there you have it, the most brutal life sentences of 2022 and 2023. It's a stark reminder of the consequences some individuals face for their actions. Join us next time as we delve into another gripping chapter of justice served. Remember, the world can be unpredictable, so stay informed and safe. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating content. Until next time, this has been The Most Brutal Life Sentences. For more such videos, like and subscribe to us.